Hello.
What a load of old bollocks.
Did you not like it?
Ugh. It's just, it's just, ugh. You know? There's one thing I can think of that I actually genuinely thought, oh yeah, that's alright from this. And it was a single fucking line of dialogue. Two, technically. Oh, just, ugh.
Well,
Go on, let's do this.
I'm sort of bored by the whole thing now.
Oh my god! Oh
I
my god!
am.
Yes!
I am, to be honest.
I was more excited by you saying that than I was by any of this episode, to be fair, probably any of this fucking series.
We'll get into the reasons why.
Yeah,
Um, but I think it's because it's more fantasy than science fiction, and I feel it's easier to ignore rules when you're doing fantasy.
that makes sense.
So you just get whatever the fuck we feel like.
Yep.
And it doesn't really intrigue me that much. But yes, we're doing Wish World, is it?
Yeah, which word they call it? More like bullshit world.
More like Pish World.
More like who the fuck came up with this bullshit world?
Yeah, I don't hate it. I just,
I just.
yeah. But yes, we open, don't we, on a
We do.
horse.
We do.
Lady riding
Tickety
a
clop.
horse, and the year
I don't know if
is
you can hear that.
1865.
Yeah, it was. Bavaria, 1865, for some unknown reason.
Yes,
Some
and
kid was born.
yes, she's riding to a house, and the chap
Yep.
with the monobrow greets her, and
A German chap, one assumes.
yeah, and he was expecting the midwife,
Yep.
but I think they explained she was held up or something. I don't know. And it's the new Rani, Rani 2,
Yeah. Was
and
played by
I don't know,
Archie Punjabi,
Archie
which I may have
Punjabi.
butchered the spelling of, the pronunciation of, sorry, but
Well, yeah, she goes in and she explains that this child's pretty special because it's the seventh son of a seventh son of a seventh son,
oh my god,
which is pretty big.
apparently.
Um, much like his poor wife's vagina, no doubt.
Yes. I mean,
Um,
let's not.
mm,
Yep. Have some decency, man.
sorry. Um,
Fucking will be.
yeah, and then she takes the baby and asks what they've named.
She's bigger on the inside.
All right, she asks what they've
That's where
named.
the TARDIS went.
She asks what they've named it, and they say Gerber or something.
Jonas.
What?
Jonas.
Jonas.
Yeah, Jonas, but it's German, and so it's a soft
Jonas,
J.
and
So
she's like, "That's a shit name. I'm gonna call it someone else."
I can't remember. Storm and something.
Yeah,
Probably Stormbringer.
Storm Strush. Yeah, and Mum says, "Well, that's not really any of your business." And she says, "Yes, it is, because I'm taking the kid." And then she kisses the
Yeah.
baby's head, and she blows, and she turns the mum into petals or something.
Violets, because her name is Violetta.
Violets, and she turns kids into ducks.
Yep, and it tells them to waddle away.
Yeah,
Waddle, waddle.
and she turns dad into an
Something about
owl.
wanting grapes. I don't
Yeah,
know.
turns dad into an owl, and then she buggers off. So
Yeah,
presumably, the Rani's TARDIS is still knocking about. It must be because it's the only way.
must be.
It's the only way Mrs. Flood could get anywhere.
I thought this whole opener bit was a bit slapsticky, almost.
Yeah, it was a bit. It was a bit. Like, yeah, it's just I don't like
Eh.
magic in me Doctor Who to this extent, and they've really gone for it.
Oh no no no! It's not magic. It's older than magic.
I don't know. It just. Ugh. But yes, and then we cut to the
Nah,
present day.
I'm with you.
And we cut to the present day where the Doctor's in bed with someone, presumably some chap he picked up at a bar somewhere, got on him, and
No, oh my god, it's
oh
Belinda.
my god, it's a lady, Belinda, and they're married.
Yeah,
Not
and
only
they've got a
that,
kid.
they have a kid, Poppy.
Oh, we've got a time delay between us.
Oh, I don't think we. Well, I don't think we do.
We
Yeah,
did because I said, and they've got a kid, and then you said, and they've got a baby, puppy. So,
yeah, that's what happened on my end too.
Oh, okay. So okay. It sounded like you'd ignored me
No,
rather than no.
I was reiterating your point. They do indeed
Okay.
have a kid.
Oh my god. That's what
Yes,
I wanted from
it's,
Jesus.
it's Poppy off of Space Babies or something, I think.
And Conrad's on the TV.
Yeah, telling stories like it's
Talking bollocks.
fascist Jackanory. Yeah, and it's not the Doctor. It's John Smith, and the cup smashes, and they're talking about
Yeah.
the 24th, which is a holiday.
Yeah, May Day, someone called it, but it fucking ain't, is it? Because one, it's a weekend. You don't have public holidays at the weekend.
Yeah.
May Day's for start of a month.
Yeah.
Like it's silly. It's what they've done, and I don't want to bang on about this sort of thing, but like what they've done is they've tied it into the real world date by showing it today, and then it's not even believable
Oh no.
in that sense because it wouldn't be a public holiday.
Well, I guess
It's one of 2 days of a week.
listen. In this universe, it must fall on a weekday.
Oh, I just.
So the Doctor gets ready to go to work, and as I said, a cup smashes because he's expressing a degree of doubt, or somebody is. And that's what happens. And then he opens the door, and it's Ruby.
Oh my god! On a Sunday.
Yeah, Ruby in this episode is sort of taking on the companion role more than Belinda does.
Yeah.
Belinda's like a side character, whereas it reminded me of when Martha walked around the world. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
It's sort of like that. It's sort of like
I was thinking about Martha in this one as well for a little while.
Well, I was sort of tempted to say in a proper Doctor Who episode, Belinda would be in the Ruby role and the Doctor would just be married to some generic woman. Maybe Mel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was thinking that this felt very much like it wasn't really written for Belinda to be in that role.
She don't do an awful. She hasn't done an awful lot yet.
No, she hasn't, has she?
But Ruby opens the door and is like, "Are you the Doctor? We met.
Do you need a doctor? Is everything okay?
Your
My
baby.
name's John Smith.
Your baby doesn't exist." It's like, how offensive. And
Yeah, that's a bit rude, to be fair.
They call the police, and Ruby makes a run for it and runs into. I've literally just said a name. Mel. And she's putting the bins out, and then she keeps running off, and the Doctor says, "What are you doing for May Day?" And she says, "Well, as a single woman with no children or family, I'll just be sitting in quiet contemplation." And I really felt that.
Yeah.
So John Smith goes
to you, isn't it? Basically, you have nobody.
Thank you. So John Smith goes to work at Unit, which is now an insurance company, and he's 2 minutes early, but he still gets bollocking from what's her face, Kate. And he
a lot of parts in this are flashbacks to previous characters, or we've established over the last few series.
Yeah, and the guy next to him is clearly interested in her. It's the same guy from before, and the Doctor calls him beautiful.
Good God, you can't call a man beautiful!
What's wrong with you? Are you some sort of homosexual?
Good God.
Yeah, so gay people.
I can tell you're not enthusiastic about this story at all, because you are very much telling it like you're feeding it off the back of a fucking. And this is what happens, and that is what happens.
Yeah.
And this is who's here, and this is what's said. Oh, mate, yeah, you got to jazz it up a little bit, Ben. It's at least make it sound exciting for.
All right. Well.
Someone.
Okay. Susan Twist is the tea lady, and she's got biscuits.
Susan Triad.
Whatever. Do you want to?
Susan Twist is the actress, isn't she? So I actually know. I'll give you that.
Do you want to do some of the legwork and maybe pick it up?
But you were monologuing so fucking much.
All right. Go on then.
So they stop because there's some mysterious thing flying through the sky, and I thought it was a Green Goblin for a little while. I don't know about you. With the look of the flying thing, I thought, that's very Green Goblin of it, and I also thought it was a bit undignified as a whole.
Yes,
fucking thing.
I assumed it would be some sort of shuttlecraft, like Padme's ship from Star Wars, some sort of, and she's on a scooter,
a fucking hoverboard. It's
Rani's
like,
on a skip
what's going on here?
on a space.
Have you
suit.
seen? Have you seen that? You've seen Spy Kids 2, I assume, at some point.
Is that the one on the island?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got flying things on that, and it sort of made me think of them as well.
Well, yeah, it was just, yeah.
It's just weird. It didn't feel, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, we follow this person. Turns out it's Rani 2.0.
Yeah.
Or I suppose 3.0 at least, considering.
Yeah.
What was it? Kate Mara?
Kate O'Mara? Kate Mara? I can't remember.
Something like that. I don't know. I don't care.
It's Kate
Before my time.
O'Mara, I think. Kate Mara is
So
an
anyway,
actress, but it was Kate O'Mara, yeah.
so we follow her, and it turns out that she's flying off to some bone palace thing. It's this, like, quite a rad name for something.
Yeah, it did look pretty
Bone
dope.
Palace.
Yeah.
But nothing good is called the Bone Palace.
No, it's names to run
Ever.
away from real fast, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like Spooky Castle and
Yeah.
Haunted Mansion. You don't go to these places. You stay away from them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we go there, and it turns out that's where she's been hanging out with other Rani and Conrad, who's telling stories to a baby and a camera for people. There's the baby that was stolen is there, and I don't know how long that baby's been there.
Well, I don't know. I honestly, because I thought, is it just not aging? Or
Wow.
has it only been there like a week? I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't seem long, does it, for it to be that age? But like, maybe it's weird because it's not, it's different, isn't it? It's a different baby. It's not like a normal baby.
No, it's not. It's got a weird laugh in it.
Yeah, it laughs like a giggle. You would not believe how fucking annoyed I was.
Well, at least there was no Mavity.
Yet.
Yet.
Actually, they're playing fast and loose with the laws of gravity again. But we'll move on to that at the end.
Yeah.
Turns out that the Conrad's getting a bit tired of telling all these stories because it's taxing apparently.
Mm.
He's a bit worn out. He's getting his sandwiches from Mrs. Flood.
Well, the Rani brought him Italian ham.
Yeah, apparently humans love it.
I have a question about this whole thing.
Go on.
So Mrs. Flood was the one who freed Conrad, right?
Yep.
So this is... Well, it depends when in the timeline that was. Did they nip back after regenerated?
I saw someone suggesting that this was... Our experiences of Mrs. Flood were out of sync.
Possibly, yeah. But
with her own timeline.
So what was her... I mean, was this always her plan? I mean, we can always find out.
No.
But also, the way bioregeneration works, as I understand it, and I'm pretty sure I'm right in this, is that Ncuti Gatwa has already lived all of David Tennant's life.
That's how I understand
New
it.
David Tennant. So he's still the future version, even though they came into existence. It's a timey-wimey thing.
Yeah. Wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey. Kind of bullshit.
Yeah. So, the Rani knows exactly how this is going to play out.
Yes, because she's already done it.
Yes, as Mrs. Flood.
Yeah.
Just wanted to note that.
Yeah. I mean, it does mean that also that means that newer Rani knows exactly how pissed off older Rani is at having to do all the shit.
True.
Because she was.
Yeah, she was annoyed.
I don't, because the implication. I mean, you won't have seen this, but one of the episodes, one of the late Capaldi episodes, has both Harold Saxon Master and Michelle Gomez Master.
Yeah.
Missy, and they end up killing each other.
Mm.
Because one of them is sort of good-ish, still, the Master, but like sort of good, and the other one is quite evil still. And they end up killing each other, and I can't help but wonder if they're trying to go for that sort of thing again. And to emphasize this point, actually, apparently, Michelle Gomez, who played Missy, was at the premiere for Robot Revolution.
Right. Oh.
Which seems like so for someone else, I can't remember who it was, but someone else who is back or is around that we weren't necessarily expecting was also at that and has proven to be in it.
Huh.
So I just it suggests that she's going to turn up at some point, and I don't necessarily mind that because she was a good incarnation of the Master.
Mhm.
It was a compelling performance throughout, but it's just a bit. It just seemed let's bring everything back.
Oh, yeah.
Let's bring it all back. Let's go back to the sort of old days, but not. Let's
Well,
fuck about with it. Let's.
mm,
Sometimes you got to let things stop. You got to stop fucking about with these things.
yeah.
Sometimes, you know.
Yeah. Um. Well, yes. How familiar are you with the Rani in Classic Who?
I'm not at all. Something about being a scientist of sorts.
Well, I watched a sort of 20-30 minute compilation on the Doctor Who YouTube channel.
Yeah.
She's only in 2 stories,
Yeah, I figured it wasn't worth necessarily.
which is really surprising to me because you'd think she'd be in a few more, but no, she's only in 2, and
You
she is
would.
great. And I was worried about
Yeah,
her
okay.
being like a just a generic evil Time Lord because her entire
Mm,
deal is just that she's into science and experimenting, and she has no moral compass whatsoever.
okay.
And I don't
Fair enough.
I, along with a lot of other people, were sort of worried that they'd just sort of make a generic evil. I don't know. We
Yeah.
didn't really get enough to come down on one side or the other because we don't know what our plan is.
Well, I mean, there is one possible that I am thinking
Yeah,
based on what we do know. So their plan is to get Omega, who apparently is the first of the Time Lords.
yeah, he's like a Time Lord God type thing. Yeah,
I don't know much about Omega. I almost looked her up, and I thought, you know what, I just don't care, so I didn't. But with the shortage of Time Lords that there are,
hmm,
getting the creator of them does sort of make sense.
yeah.
Get more that way, right?
True, you can make some
In
more.
theory, like I don't know. I'm not, I don't like it. I almost actually, annoyingly, I almost prefer my bi-generation theory for it.
I mean, it would. I'd sort of be all right with that as a twist if it turned out that Rani wasn't necessarily evil and just doing this for power, and it was like Omega's going to use me and the Doctor and Mrs. Flood to as the genesis of the Time Lord sort of thing.
Yeah,
And all it costs is Earth. That's a bargain.
yeah, right.
Maybe the Doctor has to make some difficult moral decision about whether he wants his people
Sometimes I
back.
think a Time Lord lives too long.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I will not give this show any credit for that.
No, it's just, it is all very meh, isn't it?
Yes, Mare was sort of what I was thinking.
And of course, we've sort of got a surprise sequel of two surprise sequels here.
What do you mean?
Well, they were referenced back to 73
Oh
Yards.
yeah, that's right. Because she had.
And
Yeah, she. Well, Ruby feels like she's seen 2025 before and it looked different.
yeah, which is only happens because she experienced the 73 yards time.
Yeah.
And we also very shortly afterwards get it's identified that we're harkening back to Rogue as well.
Which was really weird.
It was, wasn't it? Because Jonathan Groff's in some sort of hell dimension and he's somehow speaking from a TV.
How the fuck did he manage
This
that?
is like this is what I mean when it's all bullshit. It's like this is exactly what you were talking about. It's sort of being more fantasy than anything else. It's that it's very much how can we force something? How can we make the plot develop? Don't question how feasible it is. Just do it,
Well,
right?
I
Just
heard.
do it and it'll be fine. We'll make it fine
Yeah.
because if anyone doubts it, that's part of the problem. That's why it's
A
happening.
wizard did it, yeah. Um, I heard that Ncuti Gap was going to leave, and that this scene with Rogue, because it looks sort of green screeny and sort of shoehorned in, and the Doctor maybe could have discovered that on his own. That this was a way of Russell T Davies sort of giving those two characters some degree of closure,
Okay.
in some sense. I don't know, or just reminding us that
I
Rogue's
have
still
heard
about.
that I have heard that reshoots that were being done were because of the regeneration scene being filmed for shooting, but
Mm,
I don't know how true that is, and
mm.
I'm reluctant to commit to any sort of line of thinking about that. I don't have issue with his performance. I just want
No.
to be very clear here. My issue is the same as it was when it was Jodie Whittaker. It's the writing is letting these people down,
I agree.
and it's sad that this is, you know. So anyway, Ruby links up with Shirley, wheelchair Shirley.
Yes, wheelchair share. I'm sure she has other personality traits as well.
I mean, that is the key personality trait for this episode, isn't
Sure,
it? The fact
yes.
that she's disabled and therefore ignored by Conrad.
Yes.
So I feel like it's appropriate in this purpose, for the purposes of this conversation,
Yes.
to call her wheelchair Shirley.
And I like.
What would I call her? Rocket launcher Shirley.
Well,
She's got a rocket launcher.
I like that bit where they go to sort of the underpass and it's got all the disabled people and sort of social outcasts, and she mentions that because Conrad doesn't think of us as people or doesn't think about us at all, we're less affected by this.
Yeah, we can sort of see the cracks, as it were.
It's a very
and I did
heteronormative 1950s style world. I mean, it's mentioned that Kate needs to find someone and settle down because it's unseemly for her to be working.
Yeah, I mean, I did write. I don't criticize this portion. I did write that this whole camp section does feel a bit political. A bit. These are the people who are being ignored by government.
Well, it made sense to me in terms of the character of Conrad.
I'm not criticizing it. I just want to. I did say before I said.
Yeah.
I'm not criticizing this part of the show.
Uh-huh.
I thought it made sense as well. It's just I did make a point of saying it's just been a bit political.
Yeah.
I did also note that when Belinda discovered that the Doctor was having these doubts about the table that things were falling through. I thought her nightwear looked a bit like Princess Jasmine.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
Well, I'd taken note of everything that I see as best I can. I also thought, because we cut to a point after the Doctor gets taken away, and then Belinda gets taken away for having these doubts, we cut away to a point where Ruby and what I labelled the domestic terrorist wheelchair division.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were going to blow something up. I'm going to level here. They're there and they're watching them get taken away to this Bone Palace place, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Well,
some sort of tablet.
At some point, Belinda screams in the woods.
Yeah, for some reason.
Yeah, but yeah, they get taken away.
Off and screams in the woods.
They get taken away to the bone tower, and
Palace.
Yeah, Bone Palace, whatever. Fucking dope. Oh yeah, there's a big bone monster. Do you remember that?
There's a few of them walking about.
What's that about?
Not really there.
What's all that about?
Oh,
then?
It doesn't make any sense. There's no reference to why.
I don't know.
And then they're disappearing into non-existence as well at the end of it. I don't know if you saw when everything else is falling, when London's literally falling into nothingness. They are as well. So they're not relevant. They're just a thing that exists.
I guess it was just included as a cool visual, but it's like, why?
You know what? Conrad's like, oh, you know what would be really cool? Giant bone monsters.
Yeah. Yeah, so Belinda and the Doctor go up and are greeted by guards who look like the robots from the last episode, Eurovision episode.
Yeah, I made a note. I literally put the Bone Palace guards look like the drones from the Interstellar.
Yeah, and they go through the barrier thing, and they're both fine, and then they go to the main room, and the Rani gives them a little tour, shows them this clock that's got the Vindicator on it, and she's got these robot people who are running a call center and evaluating doubt percentages or something.
Something like that. We got as high as 9 at some point. Is it 9 out of 100 or is it 9 out of 10? Because 9's quite high out of 10. It's not so high out of 100.
Yeah. 10, I would assume.
I would assume so as well. I just want to point out, we saw Rani's Sonic, and I thought it looked a bit like a syringe.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. It's a good design choice if it is. Tell you what,
it looked like she was pulling two things, didn't it?
Yeah, it looks a hell of a lot more like a screwdriver than whatever Cheesy Gat was running about with.
What, his Sky TV remote?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, just a tiny little thing again.
Yeah.
We see inside Conrad's room, and there's the TV camera, and I could distinctly see the blurry BBC stuff on the side. Like it's literally what would say BBC,
Oh,
but it was blurred because of distance and
yeah.
focus. But I guarantee you it said BBC on it, which means that BBC are complicit in the Rani's plan.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so, or maybe that's part of his like fantasy that he gets to be on. The BBC would be much better if someone like me was running it. You know, proper TV validity.
They call it the British Broadcasting Company or whatever the hell it is, corporation, but they've got all these foreign people working here, haven't they?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Tell you what, BBC stands for. Stands for bloody buggers broadcasting communism. That's what it bloody stands for.
Rita Chakrabarti, not on my watch.
Yeah. Um.
Anyway,
Yes. So.
I've nothing against Rita Chakrabarti. I just want to
So
say.
the Rani,
I'm getting, I'm trying to tune into Conrad's racism.
the Rani dances with the Doctor and tells him everything because it'll get him thinking, and the Delta of a Time Lord will tear the fabric of this wish world apart, which will allow the underworld,
Underverse.
underverse to come up, and Omega to escape. And she takes him on the balcony and locks him out there and blows up the wall, and he falls.
Yeah, I mean nothing special, is it? That's where they ignore the what do we call it as well? Laws
Gravity.
of physics again.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like, okay, fine, the falling, absolutely, but there ain't a chance in hell that he's able to grab on quite as well as he is to that without like his legs flying up into the air because of how it is and all that.
Mm.
You know.
Mm.
And the clock strikes midnight. And I
Yes.
swear to God, if this ends up being another part of a midnight series,
Ugh.
yeah,
Yes. So. Yeah, Conrad at one point calls Doctor out and said, "You said I was nothing before. Look at me now." And it's like, you're still nothing. The Ronnies are just going to get rid of you. You mean absolutely nothing. You were a means to an end. Um. So, yeah.
I do want to pick up on something to do with Omega here.
Yeah.
I don't know a massive amount about the character,
Yeah.
but my understanding is that in the alphabet, Omega is the last letter of the
Yeah.
Greek alphabet. It's the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
You know, why would the thing that is the first of them
Yeah.
have the name that is the last of them?
Because it sounds
And if
better.
that's the plot twist,
It sounds better than Alpha
I suppose
as a
maybe,
character.
but
If you're going through it, call it Alpha. What about Beta? Gamma? Does that work? Omega? Oh, Omega's got a punch to it. Omega's got a weight to it. Yeah. Let's do that.
Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on. I'm not going to like this.
What?
I'm really not going to like this. But there was a period of time where the Master, as Sasha Dewan, went by the name O.
Oh.
Oh. And the reason why was when the Doctor realised, the immediate reaction was, oh. And I was, yes, that's why.
Oh.
Which is fine. I could get. I'd fine.
No, not why.
It's
Oh.
childish, but it's. Pardon?
Not why. Oh.
Oh. As in, oh. But like,
Oh.
O is Mega, Omega. I don't like it. I hope not. I wouldn't put it past them. They tried to shoehorn everyone else in, haven't they?
Mm.
I mean, they brought bloody Jonathan Groff back for 30 seconds of monologue into a camera.
Right, so
Like, they're doing everything, aren't they?
I'm looking on the Doctor Who wiki.
Okay.
Now, this is a fan wiki, so but following the destruction of the Time Lords by the Spy Master, the Rani sought to find Omega, the first Time Lord, to save their race.
Mm-hmm.
To save their race, so
yeah, basically what we were saying.
I don't know where they've gotten that.
Burn Earth to bring back Gallifrey.
Which I'm sort of fine with that.
Yeah, I guess. It's been done, hasn't it?
Has it?
What was the whole point of the Master doing what he did on that New Year's episode where David Tennant regenerated? What was he doing?
He was bringing the Time Lords back.
At the cost of what?
Well, presumably the universe, because they were just going to go ahead with their plan to ascend to a higher form of being.
His actual plan, like his active plan, basically removed humanity from existence because he replaced them all, didn't he?
Mm.
So basically, at the cost of Earth as we know it.
Hmm.
Like it's just the same shit. It's just
Well, oh, Susan popped up again.
yeah, there's another face on the TV because they're wheeling her out, aren't they? Again, all she's had is about 30 seconds of content across the last episode and this episode.
Mm.
You know, again, they're just wheeling these. They're trying to tie up any loose end they can because quite possibly this could be the end of it.
Well,
I'm fed up.
Yeah, I feel like I did when I was partway through the Matt Smith era, where it's like, you know what, Doctor Who and I had a good run. You know, nothing's ever going to change that. Nothing's going to be better than that. I'm never going to have that again, and that's okay. You know, we'll see.
Yeah, I just, I don't know.
It's like
I'm disappointed.
Mrs. Flood was set up to be interesting and enigmatic, and breaking the fourth wall. It's
And
like, how is she
ultimately,
doing that? How does she know what a TARDIS is? What's all this stuff? And then it's like, she's just the Rani, and she's not even the main figure in that. She's not even the
no,
main Rani.
it's interesting to me that she in the credits she's playing Mrs. Flood
Yeah.
rather than Varani, and they've got Varani as Archie Punjabi. And it's interesting to me that they're not even giving her the title anymore. They're keeping it as Mrs. Flood, even though she's Varani.
I
You know, I feel let down. It's another example of someone's built up to being this thing, and actually, fine, it's a big thing that Varani's back apparently because everyone's been wanting it apparently. But actually, it's just a letdown, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, the Rani, as I said, from what I saw, was a very interesting character, and Kate O'Mara's performance is really fun. You know, dynamic with both the Master and the Doctor is she's like the only adult in the room. It sort of feels like at certain points.
Mm.
Um, I'm tired, man.
Yeah, I know, and I'm telling you, I honestly think it would feel worse for you if you'd seen the decline in the proper decline. You know, because I'll get it over with you. Fine, on the back of David Tennant, Matt Smith feels like a letdown, but actually his entire run isn't all that bad. And Capaldi's era was surprisingly, like, considering it was where it was. I wasn't expecting a massive amount from Capaldi going into it, and
Mm,
it turned out to be amongst my favourite. I
mm,
have more episodes that I can recall from Capaldi's era that I liked
mm,
than I do Smith's era. You know,
mm.
it was like a. Can you go your last name, capital letter at the start? Son wants me to put the password in his bloody computer. I told him it before last week when we recorded. I was like, did you do this?
I know, I heard.
Anyway, yeah, you know, but no, like it's things have gone up and down and up and down over the years, but it only feels like a decline since Moffat stopped. I know he's still written a few bits. He did Boom, didn't he?
Yeah, I
But
remember
like, it's
Boom.
just it feels like a decline since Capaldi left. And again, I do not blame the actors. I blame the writing team. It feels disappointing. I look, we people say this shit all the time. I genuinely think that we are on borrowed time here now with Doctor Who. I think that we are at a point where it is. We might get another season. We might get another couple of seasons, but we're it's winding down now.
It is, as I've said countless times before, it is interesting how this is sort of history is repeating itself. We had the
Yeah.
massive high, and now we sort of, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Can't
Yeah,
we
well,
just have fucking 10 episodes of like we used to, a proper science fiction, and interesting stories written by people who actually understand what they're doing, and not by Russell T Davis who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. It's just, can we
Yeah,
actually have that, please? Can we have that?
I honestly think that the only reason why the next episode isn't being released early is so that they can bolster the views by making it all overnight figures. Or this is they're making it event TV, aren't they? Rather than,
But
and
it's,
it doesn't warrant it. It's not good enough to warrant
but
it,
it's not that.
and it's going to make it look good. It's going to make it look like everyone wants to watch it, all because they're all watching it at the same time because that's the only fucking option.
But it's not that difficult to do Doctor Who well.
No,
The
it's really not.
the foundations for that show are so strong.
Yeah.
You just get someone who writes science fiction to do a story, and you've got it for you've got an episode done. I
Yeah,
feel like the
exactly.
showrunner
That's all it takes.
needs to back the fuck off. It's just like,
I'm disappointed. I can only say it so many times. I can only say it so many ways. I feel let down by Russell's return, and I was one of them calling for it. I wanted it. I wanted him to come back
it's your
and
fault.
save this show. And actually, you know what? I regret my involvement.
I regret your involvement too.
I wish they'd got, anyone who actually seemed to care, because I just don't think he does.
I think he does care. I just think he's not very good.
But he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Was being the key word. He had his
I
time.
suppose.
Yeah.
He's over the hill. Is that what we're saying? Okay.
Well, people change, writers change. Bring somebody new in. You want, like I said before, you want a diverse staff of science fiction writers, led by someone with an idea of an overarching story that doesn't infringe too much on those individual episodes.
We will get at least one more season, because there is not a chance in hell, given the circumstances, that the BBC won't do a "this is the final series, let's wrap some things up" thing.
They didn't
Because
last
that in
time.
itself is a cash grab. No, but it's different. It's a different time now, isn't it? They'll get a cash grab out of it by saying this is it. We're going to wrap things up, and people will watch that because it's like, oh my god, it's the last of it.
Yeah,
The
I'll watch
last
it.
of the last of the Time Lords.
I'll watch it.
If I knew it was the last one, I would definitely watch.
How would you end
And
Doctor Who?
How would I end it?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You don't actually end it. What you do is you finish with he or she, assuming it's still choosy.
Yeah.
You wrap up some sort of adventure series with Belinda or Ruby or whoever it is at the time.
Yeah.
Probably both.
Mm.
For the sake of dynamics, because he's obviously got some. There's nothing wrong with the chemistry with him and Belinda, but he had better chemistry, I think, with Ruby.
Mm.
You need to somehow explain the fact that Belinda's still there, seeing as she just wanted to get home. So maybe you don't. Maybe it is just Ruby again. She's ready to travel again. Something tragic happens, so either she dies or she has an incident where she decides that she doesn't want to travel anymore. She has to stay home. And it ends with the Doctor saying, "You know what? Fine," and then leaving and going on her own adventures again.
Maybe
And we just don't see them because it's not a human; it's with him, right?
I don't know. Maybe the classic era ending was just sort of pitch perfect, where it's just end of an episode, and he has this speech, this fairly nice little speech about the adventure continues. They get in the TARDIS and go. He and Ace.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
That's sort of all you really need, isn't it? The adventure continues.
Yeah, but you want to wrap up with a character at least. You don't want the companion to be lingered there, do you? Because then that's something to explain if it ever comes back, isn't it?
Well, I mean, they didn't really explain it with Ace for a long while, so and the movie never explains what happened with Ace. I think it's.
I wouldn't know.
Well, we'll find out, won't we? Probably.
Well, it's going to happen in our lifetime. It's not going to be going forever, is it? Not at this rate.
No.
Doctor Who will be over by 2030. That's my prediction.
They'll bring it back in
Absolute
time.
latest 2030.
They'll bring it back in time.
Yeah, 2050 it'll come back.
Yeah.
We'll be saying, "Oh, well, I mean, you never know. We could be writing for it by then."
We'll be getting on a fair bit, I think, but we'll
But
be
if it's 2050, then it'll be
60s.
55, 56.
Well, we'll I hope we don't hate it when it comes back.
Well, I hope not as well. Especially if we are involved. That'd be depressing.
Well, yes, we'll see. We'll see you next time then, I guess. And
Yeah.
for
And it
our,
could be the last time.
yeah, it could be. We'll see you for not just the final episode review, but also another little video where we recap the
I'm not
series.
doing another little video. I'm not doing that. I can't be asked. What all it'll be is, yeah, that one was alright, and everything else was shit. There's no point.
All right, we'll recap the series at the end of the next review. How about that briefly? And just say what we think, and
Make it quick.
there will be.
Okay, yeah, fine. It was shit. I can do it now. Job done.
All right.
I'm not spending any more time on it because every 90 seconds.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, bye everyone.
Bye.